guys, welcome back to another video here on Eat and Skory. Today we're doing another what I eat as a vegan and gluten free. So I'm starting my morning off with a smoothie. I'm just making a green filled smoothie. So I'm starting off with some banana, mangoes, strawberries, and some ice. And then I'm going to add my vegetables, which I like to put in some baby kale, some carrots, and some kale, normal kale, not baby kale. And I also like to put in some spinach and broccoli. And honestly, guys, like, you can't even taste these vegetables in it. I'm not even lying. It is so good. And then I just add some flax seeds and some oats and a little bit of soy milk. And I just do about a cup and add water to the rest. And I just put that all in the blender. And I usually put about half a packet of stevia for sweetener. But look at this smoothie. Like, this is the smoothie of winners. So I just blend that all together, and I just add any more water if it's too thick, or a couple ice cubes if it's not thick enough. And guys, don't let the color discourage you, okay? I promise it's actually delicious, and putting vegetables in my smoothie is one of my favorite ways to get veggies, and I just love it. So if you're making a smoothie, just put some vegetables in. You really cannot even taste it. I'm not lying, I swear. So this smoothie is definitely filling, and it makes a lot, so I definitely can get by with just having this for breakfast. It is so delicious and filling. Oh my gosh. So I actually went out for lunch because I was at the Fun Factory and didn't bring a good lunch, so I decided to go get an acai bowl and some lemonade.
And then decided to splurge for the actual mason jar, and I think we're getting, yeah, it's worth it. It was only, how much, $5?
Yeah.
And then after you get 50 cents off.
Each lemonade, so like.
Yeah, it pays for itself after, so.
Okay, so it is lunchtime, and I am at the Fun Factory, and we only had, we had nothing at our house to make and bring, and I was running really short of time because we have company coming soon, and I had to clean my room, so I didn't end up packing a lunch. I actually just brought, it was like a ramen pack, but I didn't really want the rice noodles because my stomach kind of hurts a little bit already, and sometimes rice noodles are iffy, so I stopped at my favorite little restaurant and got got myself an acai bowl, and it's literally looks so good. This is I love their bowls, they're so good. And this was like $6 for this, and at Nectar it's like $9 for something not even this big or flavorful. Hashtag exposing Nectar. But so yes, it's so good. And I also got a Basil Lemonade, and it is the best thing I've ever tasted in my entire life. This place uses organic cane sugar and fresh ingredients, so they literally make it you can make your own. You could tell them and be like, I want blueberries, basil, and watermelon, and they'll make it for you. So this is so good. They also convinced me to buy a mason jar because I get 50 cents off of every purchase that I go now. So it is so good. So once we're back at the Fun Factory, I'll tell you how it is. Okay, so we're back at the Fun Factory, and I have it's my what I eat. I have my acai bowl, which is so good. It's got almond milk, blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, banana, and it's got granola, strawberries, and banana on top. And I have my basil lemonade, watermelon lemonade, and this is literally the combination of these two is so good. So even though I didn't make it, I'm still eating it. So.
Show them my sandwich.
Gabriella, I made a vegan sandwich. Look how
Yum.
Delicious. Wait, this is gluten-free. I can't show it. Don't look gluten-free, people. I'm so sorry she offended you like that. It's rude. Okay, so after a delicious lunch out, I decided to make a yummy big dinner at home. This was a new recipe, and it turned out so good. It is a vegan tikka masala, and honestly, this was fantastic. I'm making it in my Instant Pot, and it was so delicious. So I started with my spices first. I took 1 tablespoon of garam masala and 2 tablespoons of paprika. It kind of overflowed, so I tried to put some back, but it was a little spicy, not gonna lie. Could have cut back on that. But then I put 1 teaspoon of coriander, a half a teaspoon of salt, and a half a teaspoon of black pepper, and then I just diced my onion nice and fine and put some olive oil in the Instant Pot. I put it on saute low, and I just put that all in and let the onions cook until they were translucent. And this took probably about, like, I want to say 5 minutes. It wasn't bad. Also, if you want to make this recipe and you don't have an Instant Pot, I put the link down below with the recipe, and you can also make it in a crock pot or just on the stove. I just happen to have a I happen to have an Instant Pot, and I love making stuff in it because it's so easy, so I just went with the Instant Pot recipe, but they have a recipe for all three. So next, I just took my ginger, and I have this little, like, ginger slicer thingy. I don't know what this is. Like, we got it at an art festival, but it just makes it nice and fine and gets all the ginger juices out, and I added that to the onions. And then I took my jalapeno pepper and cut just a tiny little piece of it, and I got the seeds out and just diced this up as well and threw it in with the onions to cook. So next, I just took one large red pepper. I almost said yellow. It's not. It's a red pepper. And I just chopped this up as well into little pieces and threw this in with the onions to mix in and get soft and nice and cooked. So the recipe called for 4 cloves of garlic, but I am a huge fan of garlic. Me and my family all love garlic, so I think I put about 6 cloves, I want to say, something like that. But we love garlic, so I definitely would recommend more than 4 because 4 did not seem like enough in my opinion. But if you're not that into garlic, then, you know, stick to the recipe. But anyways, next I just added all my spices into the mixture after it's been cooking for about 7 minutes, and I just stirred this evenly around all the peppers and the onions and just made sure everything was evenly distributed. Then added my tomato paste, and I put about 6 tablespoons of tomato paste, which if you have a small can, that's almost the whole can, so I really should have just used the rest because I just had like a tablespoon left. So I would just recommend putting the whole thing in if you're just using one of the small tomato paste, because it's kind of useless just to have like a tablespoon left of tomatoes to paste, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, next I just took my diced can of tomatoes and just added the whole thing. I don't know, I think this was a 14-ounce can, or no, it was, I can't remember. I don't remember. It's in the recipe. But anyways, I just stirred this in as well and make sure all the spices and peppers and onions were evenly distributed throughout it. And then I just took my nutritional yeast. So the recipe originally called for 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, but like I like the cheesy flavor of nutritional yeast, so I ended up putting, I think 8. I think I put 8. And honestly, that was fine. Like, it didn't taste over cheesy, and like it tasted so good with that amount. So I would do 8 tablespoons, but I would also taste it as you go, because if you don't like the more cheesy flavor, then I would just stick to the 4. So next, I took my coconut milk, and I actually scraped a little bit of the cream off the top because I don't like all the cream in the coconut milk, because sometimes it's a little too creamy. But I just poured 1 can of that in and mixed it all together. Obviously, if you like the creaminess of it, then keep all of the coconut milk, but sometimes it's just a little too much for me. But then I took my tofu and just put them into little bite-sized cubes and put them into the mixture. And honestly, like at this point, this was smelling so good. I was ready to just like eat this with a spoon cold. I mean, it wasn't like cold, it was warm because it's cooking, but like delicious. So after that, I took 1 can of chickpeas and drained them and added this to the tikka masala. And then after I added the tofu and chickpeas and just stirred them all together, I chopped up my potatoes. I think they were just like golden potatoes. I'm pretty sure they were just golden potatoes. So the recipe doesn't technically call for potatoes, but I just figured it would taste really good in this. So I would recommend putting potatoes, because they were so good in here. I don't even think it called for chickpeas. It didn't. I added the chickpeas as well, but between the two, it really made it a lot more filling, and it was so good with the chickpeas and the potatoes. Honestly, delicious. But anyways, once everything was in the Instant Pot, I just put the top on and set the pressure for 20 minutes on high. So for my side vegetable, because I always like to have a side vegetable, I went with some roasted Brussels sprouts. And if you guys haven't noticed by now, I'm kind of obsessed with Brussels sprouts, raw or cooked. They're so delicious. So I just chopped these in half and just peeled a couple of the leaves off and drizzled them with some olive oil, and this tasted so good with tikka masala as well. Like, the flavors just blended together so nicely. So after I just chopped these, I put, like I said, some olive oil and some salt and pepper, and just put them in the oven at 350 for probably about 15 minutes, and then I flipped it to broil low just to crunch them up for no longer than 5 minutes. So as you can see, it turned out beautiful. Everything was delicious. I also put some brown rice underneath the tikka masala and topped it with some cilantro and purple cabbage. This dinner was so good, and I am so making it again. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. As always, we'll see you guys next time, and don't forget to love the life you're living. Bye!